General Neller, Ms. Neller, welcome and congratulations. Thank you both for your service. General Neller, I want to start, and first I apologize for having to step out. We had to have a quorum in Judiciary Committee and had to step out briefly, so I apologize if I'm asking a question that's already been asked. But I'd like to start by talking about what will be your top ground modernization program priorities.
Well, Senator, right now the two top programs, and they are yet to be fielded, is the Joint Light Tactical Vehicle and the Amphibious Combat Vehicle. Both of them are, the JLTV, as I understand it, is close to low-rate initial production, and the ACV, we should down-select to 2 vendors with 16 vehicles this fall, and then we'll eventually pick one. So in that area, and there's a couple other things, but a radar, a multi-purpose radar, and a whole variety of other things. But right now, as far as specific programs, those two are at the top.
Can you talk a little bit about the reason why they're top and the difference it makes in terms of your capabilities?
Well, for the JLTV, we need a wheeled vehicle that has more survivability than the Humvee. The Humvee's been around since the mid-'80s. We've improved it a little bit, but there's only so much growth left in the frame, and we need something that's going to give us more survivability and trafficability. So we need to recapitalize and get a new vehicle, and the decision's been made that the JLTV is that vehicle. So we're going to buy 5,500 of them, and I'm assuming that they're going to meet the requirement. I have not looked at any of the test data, but I don't even know who the vendor is. On the ACV, same reason. The amphibious vehicle we have today is 40 years old. We've refurbished it, rebuilt it a number of times. It's okay. It's okay in the water and not so okay on the ground, particularly if there's IEDs because it's flat bottom. It's just not survivable. So we have to, and because that vehicle spends 90% of its time ashore, we have to find something that's going to give us more survivability ashore, but that yet can still move through the surf and get us to the beach.
And that actually leads to the next question I had, which has to do with ship-to-shore maneuvers. I got some exposure to some of the challenges when I was down at Camp Lejeune a month or so ago. And can you talk a little bit about the ship-to-shore maneuvers all the way from the connectors, LCUs, and elaborate on the ACV in terms of the additional capability it gives you as compared to what you have today?
Amphibious warfare is very complicated, involves a lot of moving pieces, and you're also subject to the vagaries of the weather and the sea. So we've got to get to the objective area in our amphibious ships, and we use air cushion vehicles and landing craft, large landing craft, to move heavier loads ashore. Neither the Amtrak or the ACV is going to be able to give us a long-range launch, so we have to be worried about anti-access area denial. So we'll work through some choreography and sequencing of the force. We want to be able to land under cover of darkness, take advantage of that for our security. So this ACV that we buy, just like the Amtrak that we have, has to have some surf capability, some seakeeping capability, and it's got to move at a certain speed so that we can do this with us under a period of darkness.
The last question I have for you has to do with the size of the force. I know that there have been some studies from Marine Corps University that was setting the optimum size of the Marines at about 186,000, just below 187,000. We're at 184,000. We're moving to 182,000. That 5,000 differential, that's a lot of Marines and a lot of killing capacity. I know when I met with you in my office, you're the sort of person that's going to make it work, no matter whatever hand you're dealt. But are you reaching I mean, do you think that 182 is a workable number, or is that just a number you're working with because that's where we are with troop reductions, or do we need to look back at getting to that optimal number if you agree with the assertion that 187 is the optimal number?
Senator, the optimal number for a 3-to-1 deployment ratio, which is what we would aspire to, is 186. And we've built into our plan as we've drawn down, some reversibility of that. We know what units we took down and cadred and what units we would bring back. 182 is at that point where we can meet the combatant commander's requirements and provide a 2-to-1 depth to dwell, which we think is the minimum sustainable level. So yes, we can do it at 182. 186 would be better, but right now that's not affordable. If resources were made available or we were required or able to do that, we would grow the force back, but that would take some time.
Thank you, General Neller. I look forward to supporting your confirmation. Thank you, Mr. Chair.